Hey everybody, Dr. LeGrand here. I am super excited about talking about on this live stream as far as what you guys can do for your child right now during this crazy pandemic with your child with ADHD. These are my protocols that I do implement before I do get started and dive into what things that I would suggest to do right now during this pandemic is I do have my free guide right here that I have actually just made for you guys, and you could just click on the link in the description. I'll also put it in the comment section that you can download this free guide. It's my protocols that I do recommend for all parents to be able to implement as far as, what nutrients to implement, what supplements to implement, as well as just what labs to run, of course, what foods to avoid. It's a very, thorough type of guide just for you guys. So go ahead and download it. It's free and check that out. But, it's talking about as far as what can you do during this crazy pandemic. Kids are now home. It's crazy. It's hard to get them to do their schoolwork. And you might even be thinking maybe some of your other children that are now home all the time might be having some symptoms of ADHD, and you might be wondering maybe it's not just that one child, it could be some others, and you're just out of your wits end knowing what can I do. Well, these are things that I want to just kind of suggest that you can do now that there is more time being at home. You can start implementing more actual schedules, because usually when there's school involved, it makes it difficult to have a good regimen. And so these are things you can start implementing more of. So things like such as different types of, let's talk about foods for example. When you can actually implement more ways, because with a lot of my patients, they have a hard time monitoring their kids and what they're eating at school. Now that kids that are home more often, implementing good nutrients that can be more viable, things such as vegetables, healthy fats, and healthy proteins, getting a consistent, balanced diet for each meal for your kid with ADHD. Why this is so important, because these types of things have the natural sources of vitamins and minerals that you need to get versus getting in a supplement. Now, supplements can be helpful, but if you can get it for its most natural source, that is going to be more beneficial in the long term versus if just relying on supplements. Now, as far as if you are doing supplements along with your medications, things that can be helpful along with that, and of course having consistent basis of actually taking it on a regular basis because you're with your child more frequently versus them being at school. Because this is something, a challenge that a lot of parents that I do have is able to have them take it at school, or they have other activities going on, and so they kind of miss taking a lot of their supplements. So now this is the time to actually be more consistent by taking more supplements regularly on a regular basis. Now, things that I do recommend, I do talk about this all in my guide, but some really common ones that should be implemented more so is things such as like zinc, magnesium, iron, because there's lots of iron deficiencies that happen with kids with ADHD. So if there is a suspect of an iron deficiency, implementing iron could be really helpful for kids that do have ADHD. But magnesium is really crucial for electrolytes that the brain definitely needs. There's also other supplements, depending, of course, if you're taking medications, you got to be careful on some of these, but ginkgo biloba, kava kava, California poppy, there's lots of different things I talk about in my guide specifically as what supplements you can be implementing more of, but these are also that are very beneficial to the brain, as also does help with anxiety. It helps with dopamine levels. These are all great things that you can start implementing now while you're at home, while you can't be going out as much and maybe even seeing your therapist. Now, I would reach out to a lot of your, if you are working with a therapist, see if they do telemedicine. Something that I do still within my practice for people, because that is something that's going to be still need patients do still need our services. So we use telemedicine. So that's something you should reach out to your counselors or your doctors if they do not provide that service, to hopefully that they can actually recommend those things. The other things, that I would recommend when this kind of all pans out is to run some additional labs that you can be beneficial. I mentioned about the iron deficiency, but other things that could be checked on, thyroid could be a possibility for kids who do have ADHD symptoms. Usually the inattentive type will tend to run that category of having a thyroid issue. We usually think adults typically will have that, but usually kids can also have thyroid issues, and that can present as ADHD symptoms because they're kind of interconnected and also related. Along with the iron deficiency, those can also present with as ADHD symptoms, because if your child has iron deficiency, they're going to feel fatigue, they're going to feel, brain fog, they're going to feel very spacey and very inattentive because they have low iron levels. So these are things that you should be checking out significantly. As far as just things to really make sure that you're implementing on a regular basis is to always initiate things that you can do now as far as being home. Things that were more difficult when your kid was in school or had all these activities, try to get a good regimen. And that's what I would recommend, is trying to get a good regimen now. So when kids do get back to school, which is going to be, of course, next school season, because we're going to have a very extensive summer break. But this gives you a long period of time to try to get those patterns in and regimens in. So when school does happen, your child is used to it already. So those are the recommendations I do recommend. If you have any further questions, leave in the comment section below. And as always, go ahead and download this free guide. It's just in the link below or above. You can check out to download this free guide. Until next time, this is Dr. LeGrand signing out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Bye.